Welcome to the Metals Investment Forum. I have here Ralph Shearing here. He's the CEO of a new silver startup. It's a very interesting company. They just got started. They just announced an acquisition. And I would like Ralph to tell us about the story. Welcome, Ralph.
Thank you, Chen. And actually, I'm the president of this company. I'm not the CEO because I have a CEO position with another company. But anyways, yeah, Hawthorn Resources, a brand new company, startup. It's listed on the CSE exchange. We are working on a new acquisition, or an acquisition for the company called Prince Silver Mine. And we're buying a Nevada corporation that owns a carbonate replacement deposit called Prince. And it also owns a very large porphyry copper moly target about 10 miles to the north of the Prince mine. Now we're concentrating on the Prince mine, which has it's a historic mine. It was mined back in the 40s. It's carbonate replacement, as I mentioned, so lead, zinc, silver, gold, copper, and manganese. And manganese is quite important to this story because manganese is a critical metal, and our resources looks like about 3 to 4.5% manganese. So what we're doing is we're finishing off the acquisition agreements, getting them ready to be signed. We're raising money. We're raising $3.5 million to fund an exploration program, which we hope to start in the summer, probably summer, early fall. I've been to the project. We've looked at it with both of the porphyry copper and the Prince Silver project. Great projects. I believe that Prince, with a little bit of drilling, will be able to put together a resource very quickly. And the reason I say that is Prince has 160 drill holes, historic drill holes on it. And there was an Australian group that owned this project before who were buying it from. And they were calculating a resource based on wireframes around the historic drilling. And they were going to try to issue that under JORC standards in Australia. JORC standards are basically the same as a 43101, but in Australia. And so the information that they were able to put together wasn't quite compliant in that they weren't able to bring a lot of the historic drill holes into the calculation because of lack of QA/QC data. And then the spacing on some of the holes was a little bit too far. So they didn't actually publish a JORC resource. However, they produced an exploration target based on JORC standards that suggests there is a fairly significant deposit there. All right. So we've got to go in and we're going to, with the money we're raising, we're going to twin some of the old drill holes, and probably 5% of the historic drill holes, we'll twin those. If we get comparable results to the historic drilling, that should allow us to bring a lot of that historic data into a new resource report. And we're also going to drill new holes to infill drill and upgrade the resource. So that would mean sometime late this year, we may be in a position to bring out a maiden 43101 technical report and a resource for the Prince mine. And our vision there is to take that project and advance it towards restarted mining operations on an entirely different mechanism for production and processing. So we would look at an open pit on the main part of the deposit, which is on surface down to probably 300 meters, varying mantle-style ore bodies throughout that distance, and the open pit would access those and mine those. And then we would look at processing on a hydromet process, which is basically taking the material, putting in a solution, and recovering all of the metals. And that means manganese, right, as well as gold and silver. The silver content, well, we're looking at a potential of 100 million ounce silver equivalent, not including the manganese. So that's just lead, zinc, gold, and silver. And that's what the JORC exploration target suggests is there. And now we just have to confirm that with drilling.
Wow.
Okay. So that's a really good project. It's well advanced. I call it a well advanced brownfield project with 1 to 2 drill programs. Should give us enough money to run it through some kind of economic study to see whether we could put it back in production. And it's in a great location, Nevada. which has become even more popular place to explore and develop since Donald Trump became president and has said he's fast tracking mining projects. And especially strategic metals. He declared gold a strategic metal for the U.S., silver and manganese is already a strategic metal. So that could really accelerate our permitting process for a restart of that operation.
And also, the Trump administration announced they would invest in mining projects.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. So maybe we can tap into that. It's too early to tell.
Yeah.
We have a bit of work to do before we could present them a plan that would allow them to do that. But it's entirely possible. And a little mention on the porphyry copper moly target to 10 miles to the north. This is a fantastic target. I've visited it just recently. The size of the alteration halo around this area is massive. It's probably one of the larger unexplored porphyry copper targets in the USA. And it's probably very similar to a porphyry copper mine called Robinson Ruth Chris Eli deposits about 100 kilometers to the north of Nevada. Same kind of a environment, carbonate replacement with porphyry. And that mine has been in operation for 30 some odd years. So these could be very, very large deposits. And to me, it looks like there's a buried intrusive there that will hopefully give us what we would like to see in a porphyry copper. Now that's a big project that takes a lot of money to explore those. So we'll likely be looking for a joint venture partner for some of the better porphyry copper explorers out there that would take that project on and develop it. And we would sit back, let that happen, and share in the interest of the project going forward.
Okay, good.
That's
good.
the plan.
Very good, very good. Just based on the silver, and hypothetically, you have 100 million ounce silver equivalent. Generally, what's like the market cap around, on the publicly traded company?
So because we're a startup, so we are going to have about 30.7 million shares issued after we make the acquisition of the Nevada Corporation. So we're issuing 15 million shares to the vendors. Our company will have 15.7 million. We're doing a 3-for-4 consolidation in the company to make it as tight as possible and have the vendors and our group having similar interest in the project moving forward. Our $3.5 million financing is 27 cents a share, and that will add a little bit more, but we'll still be 45 million style share issued company on a very tight vehicle with an excellent project. So we think that there's a very good chance of shareholder appreciation, and especially if we start hitting some of the things we think we will in the exploration program and the development of the project.
Wow, okay. Good. So give us some taste, like what currently 100 million ounce silver equivalent, what kind of market cap is, and what's the market cap?
Our market cap is like $8 million. After we complete the acquisition, peers that are developing projects are 80, 70, 80, 90 million market caps. So we have that ability to very rapidly get to those levels based on the exploration program.
Oh, good. And then for new investor who want to acquire your share, what do they watch? What the catalyst for the rest of the year?
The announcement of the definitive acquisition agreement is closed. The private placement that we're working right now is closed. We're very close to that. Mm-hmm. Looks like we'll have the $3.5 million coming fully spoken for. We might upsize. We might go to 4 million if we have the interest level. And then it's a matter of getting going and doing the work. We're lining up drill rigs now. We expect that late summer, early fall, we'll get the exploration program going. And then we'll do some metallurgical testing as well to see that our path forward on the metallurgy is sound and solid. And with good results there, then we're looking at a fairly substantial deposit in the company.
All right, excellent. So when the drilling result will come out, do you foresee?
Well, depends on when we get it going, but if let's say we start drilling in August or September, then you're looking at late October, November for drill results to come back from independent labs and putting the resource together. So trying to publish a resource before the end of this year might be difficult. And it may take one more drill program too. So we don't know that until we get the first one done. So realistically, I think you're looking at mid next year to come up with a maiden 43101 resource for the project.
Okay, great. Good luck. I'm looking forward to hear good news from you.
Thank you, Chen.